Hello, Jennifer. How are you doing? Oh, I think you're on silent. You're on mute.
Yes, no, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Jennifer. Great to see you.
Yes, well, as it's a webinar, shall I just stop my video?
Yes, probably. Antonia, you need to turn your video on though.
Well, I can see.
Great that everyone is joining us. Yeah. So, Antonia, I'm making you a co-host as well. Great to see someone from Walter Sisulu University. Is that Batandiwe? Welcome, Margie. I wonder whether everyone can, in the notes, just say who you are and where you're from.
Hi, David.
Hey,
How are you?
fine, and yourself?
I'm good. This is Zogisa speaking. I'm from the Walter Sisulu University. I'm curating a beadwork collection.
Oh, great. Wonderful to have you.
That's that part because I was just correcting. I didn't know what was there before. Because I had to see,
Yeah.
say, you should tell us from where you are and who are you, something like that.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. So I wonder on the note in the chat, if you could put that in the chat, if everyone can put that in the chat, where you're from, who you are, where you're from.
Okay, no problem.
Hi, Batandiwe. I see you here. So everyone is filling in the chat where you're from. Margie, great to have you here. So we're encouraging everyone in the chat just to write who you are and where you're from. Those who've just joined, Victor, Kenny, we're just writing in the chat who we are and where we're from. It's great to have you all here. We'll get going soon. I know we don't have a huge crowd today, and we're doing another one on Wednesday where we have more signed up for that. But it's going to be quite nice having a smaller crowd and everyone can be asking questions and so on. And while we're going, please at any point feel free to just write in the chat any questions that you have, and we'll try and kind of engage with those questions as well as we go along. I'm going to be doing a bit of the presentation, but so too is Antonia. So between Antonia and I, we will try to cover things and try and answer everyone's questions as well. Right, it seems like most people are here. Hopefully you've written in the chat who you are, where you're from, and then everyone can get to know everyone else. Right, I'm going to just start by sharing my screen. And hopefully I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, I'm hoping that you can all see my screen. And really, what I'd like to say, first of all, is Picvario is part of a bunch of systems that Africa Media Online is now representing as part of our Preservatio digital curation system. And there are a number of the systems that all complementary. Mediagraph is really a system that is utilized for really gathering materials from across an organization, for instance, bringing order to them, noting their use rights and managing all of that. Like it's a work in progress system ahead of then putting them into a permanent digital archive. Limecraft is a system that really works with video and broadcast archives and does a lot of AI speech to text and so on. Picvario is what we're speaking about today, and Picvario is a really wonderful system for presenting material to end users. We're actually going to be using that as middleware with potentially another system on top of it for kind of the general public, but it's what we're going to be showing you today. And then we also have AM Cortex, which does a similar job, but mainly is focused on heritage collections. And then finally, Engage is an app, so that geolocates content, and you can be walking around a museum and it'll pop up information at you and all sorts of things. So we're going to be doing webinars on these various systems, but today we're focusing really on Picvario. And if you want to log in or sign up for various webinars, you can go to this webinar page, webinars on digital archiving on the Africa Media Online site, and you can then sign up to the various webinars. So next Wednesday, we've got another Picvario, and then Engage on the Friday, and AM Cortex the next week, and so on. So those are all available if you're interested in that. Okay, so right now, however, we're wanting to speak about Picvario, which is a digital asset management system, very powerful. We're very excited about it. You can put all sorts of content into it, and it has lots of wonderful features, such as the ability to do AI keywording and also manage permissions and all sorts. So we're going to be showing you that today. And so we're representing Picvario in Africa, and they have a very good development team behind the scenes. And we're making all sorts of suggestions at different points to them. So, and it's a good relationship that we have with them. I want to also just show you that when you're engaging with Picvario, there is quite a mature sort of help center, and there's a help center for administrators and a help center if you're just a user. So you can go into this help center on the Picvario site, and there's lots of information there. So pretty much anything that we're showing you today, you can get information about what well, you can remind yourself of what we've shown you today here. Right. So I want to hand over briefly to Antonia to show you how to set up a Picvario system. So I'm going to stop sharing and then she is going to share. Over to you, Antonia, and you are on mute.
Thank you so much, Dave. Let me just start sharing my screen. Okay, I hope that you can see my screen.
Just a reminder to everyone, you can ask questions at any time on the chat. And if you've just joined us, please put on the chat who you are and where you're from.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing that I'm going to be showing everyone is how to create a Picvario account. So the first thing that you do is just open Google or any browser that you are using, and you just search Picvario sign up. And then it should open this page, and then you click on the first link that you see. It should take you directly to the page that you do actually create your account. Also, just very important to note that next to sign up on this link, there should not be IO. So it should not be signup.io, because that would then create the account on the incorrect domain, and I had to learn that. So the link should just be this one without an IO at the end. So you can start by putting in your details. As you can see, I've put in my name, my surname, my email address, my phone number. Then you put in a password and something called a space name. So the space name would normally be the name of your organization or name of a department within your organization. So I created a new space called Marketing AMO. So Marketing Africa Media Online. And then you click on register. And it should take you to a page that asks you for an OTP, which normally gets sent to your email. If you have trouble locating your OTP, if it's not in your inbox, sometimes it does actually filter through to your junk mail. That's happened to me in the past. So before sending another email, if you haven't received one as yet, check your junk email. So I'm going to put in the OTP that I have gotten. And then it takes a couple of minutes to build the workspace. And another great thing about Picvario is that you are able to build multiple workspaces under one email address. So if you have one main email address for your organization, you can create multiple departments underneath each workspace. So for example, you can have a workspace for marketing, you can have a workspace for finance, whatever workspace that you want within your organization. So that's a really nice feature of Picvario. So once your workspace is built, I'll show you what it actually does look like on a completed workspace. So I'm going to use our Picvario account as an example. Another good tip is what we normally do at AMO is we keep our logins all in one spreadsheet. It just helps keep everything together and helps you to remember like passwords and links, just so that it just makes things way easier. So I would suggest that you do that if you do have multiple accounts underneath one Picvario account. So this is what Picvario looks like. This is the landing page, which is our home page. You can create a home page underneath the administration panel, which I will take you to shortly. So for now, we're just going to log into our Picvario account. And you do that by logging in to this little button, and then you put in your email address that you used to register your account initially. And then you also put in your password. Okay, so then it takes us into our Picvario interface. So this is what it looks like. I can just close that to give you a better view of what the asset management system looks like. So this is what it looks like, and you are able to sort into different categories. You're able to change how the viewing of the tiles of the, so if you want your photos to look bigger, you can just access it by selecting settings and then selecting scale. And if you want your photos to look bigger, you can increase it. And if you want them to look smaller, you can decrease it. So depending on how you want your view to look, you can customize it. You can also customize your viewing page, your asset page into table form, into list form. So you can see it gives you information with picture next to it. I do prefer tiles because I feel like it just gives you a better view of your images. So the next thing that I wanted to show everyone is how to customize your account. Because you can see that, you know, everything looks pink, and if you're not into pink, you can change that. So in order to change your design or to customize your account, you access your user profile, and you can see that it opens this page. So we have user management, storage, options, design, and domain. So right now we're going to be looking at design. And then it brings you to this page where you can upload a logo, a sign-in logo, a system logo, a favicon, a watermark, and change your color scheme. So sign-in logo is the logo that appears when you sign in. A system logo would appear here. A favicon is this little icon here. So that you can also customize that. The watermark would be on all of your images and documents. It's like a trademark. So that's what the watermark is for. And the color scheme is just if you want to change the site from pink to like any color that you want. So when uploading a logo or any image onto your system, it has to either be in JPEG or PNG format. The system will not accept any other formats. So let me show you how to do that. Super easy. You just click on upload and you click on the logo that you want to upload. And the system logo, I'll use the same one because we want the same logo for our system. If you have different logos within your organization, you're free to use different ones as well, but I'll use the same one. And then changing our color scheme. Our color scheme is red, as you can see in our logo. So I'm going to make our color scheme red as well. And then we have meta tags. So if you'd like to change the name of your tab from Picvario to the name of your organization, I will show you how to do that. So you add a field, and underneath key, you'll type in title. It's just the standard meta tag if you want to change this Picvario to the name of your organization. And under value, I'm going to put in the name of our organization, which is Africa Media Online. And then the last thing that you'll see on our customized page is information. So you can put any information that you want into this little box. But the standard narration is normally this one. So just how to get help if you're stuck or if you need pointers on how to use the system. So instead of having support at picvario.com, I'm going to change it to support at africamediaonline.com. So that if people have any support related questions while they're using our site, it will come directly to us. So if you'd like to do that, and if you have a support email in your organization, you're free to actually change that so that they can route any queries directly to you. And then you press save, and then your system should change. You can actually watch it change. So you can see the Picvario icon change to our one. You can see the color scheme has changed. You can see that now instead of the Picvario little magnifying glass, we have our icon, and the tab has changed from Picvario to Africa Media Online. So it's just a really nice way to just customize your system and make it more about your organization. And I'll also show you that when you log out, I just want to show you the logo. And then when you want to log in again, you'll see that our logo is there. So it just customizes it and makes it more about your organization, which I think is a really nice touch. So that's it on my side from customization. So I will be handing over to Dave, and he will take us through loading content.
Great. Thanks, Antonia. Right. I am going to share my screen. I'm hoping that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Antonia, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go back also to that website. I'm just trying to the Zoom menu is in the way of me being able to click to the other. Okay, I'm gonna do this right. Okay, so here I am on the Africa Media Online Picvario page. Now this homepage can be just got a single picture in all of these, but it can be customized. And we are also working on an integration between our MEMAT front end and Picvario, which we're not ready to show yet. But with that, you will be able to use WordPress to customize the look and feel of the site pretty much completely, particularly your landing page and so on. But so I'm going to actually just go to my assets. And so these are the assets that I have on the system currently. And I want to really show you how, oh, I haven't logged in. So I need to log in first to the system because I want to show you how I can import data. So first of all, perhaps to show you that one can put images on the system, and those images can display on the system. Likewise, one can put video and audio. So here just loaded that audio file.
Hi, my name is Dave Larson.
Okay, you don't need to hear any more of that, but you can see video and audio. Audio should play. That's an MP3. I'm not sure why it's not playing. Oh, there you go. It is playing. Okay, so and then obviously images and pretty much anything that you can, any media file, and it can take many different media types. So you see I've got a .mov, an MP3, JPEGs. It could take DNGs for digital negatives, raw files. It could take TIFFs. It can take pretty much any media type that you want to load on, and there are literally hundreds that can be put on. Now, we wouldn't recommend that, though. So obviously, Africa Media Online is really focused on long-term digital archiving. And so really what we recommend is that you put onto your digital archive file formats that are for long-term archiving. And so that tends to be TIFFs or derivative JPEGs for pictures, .movs or MP4s for video, and would be a WAV, linear WAV files, or MP3s as access files for audio. And so, yeah, so those would be really the file formats that one would focus on. And then for documents, one would tend to put a PDF-A, which is an archival quality PDF, and perhaps a JPEG or a TIFF for every single page of that document. And we will show you kind of what that looks like in terms of associated files. But I want to show you, first of all, about loading content. So I'm logged in as an administrator to the system, and I have permissions to load. And I can just click on this import button in the properties panel, and I can go and find a picture, for instance. And let's see if I've got a picture somewhere that I can just load. So let's take this particular picture, and I'm just going to drag it across and pop it in there. And it's asking me what collection I want to load this into. And I'm going to just call it climbing, because it's a picture of climbing. But I would tend to be a bit more structured than this. This is just for demonstration purposes. And so that file will be loading. Now, this happens to be a DNG file, which is a digital negative. And we'll see what it looks like as soon as it's loaded. But in the meantime, I'd like to just show you really the sort of derivative files that one might have. So once you load content into the system, it is going to really produce all sorts of derivative files, like a thumbnail and a preview. So I'm just going to go to one of these assets. And if I go to properties, obviously shows you the metadata associated with the file. And if I click on files, I can see the original file and then a preview that it's produced, auto-produced, and a thumbnail as well. And so the Picvario as a system is really good at maintaining associated files. So you can, for instance, for a document file, load the high-res PDF-A of that document and then have the associated pages. So if you had a JPEG or a TIFF of every single page, you would have those associated with the main file. And so that's a very good feature of the system, is that it kind of maintains files and their associated files together. So let's, that file is still loading. Sorry, my internet is not very fast where I am at home at the moment. And so it might take a little bit of time just to load that file. Okay, so the other thing, obviously I am busy loading files just one at a time, and you can do that through the web interface as I showed you. But there's a much better way of loading files to the system, and that really is working through the Picvario integrations. So Picvario can be integrated with all sorts of systems, such as you can set up an FTP server, and it can literally watch a hot folder on the FTP server, and as you load content there, it can draw it down and place it into Picvario. You can connect an Amazon S3 buckets through to Picvario. You can connect to Google Drive. So there are a number of ways in which Picvario can be integrated. Picvario also has, for those who are more technically minded, a very sophisticated API, which is a way of interfacing different systems to one another. And so their API is quite sophisticated and very well thought through. And so, you might find that you have certain systems that you would want to interface with it for getting content online, for instance, or getting content out of the system again. And so that's really something that particularly your IT people might be interested in. So just going back to our Picvario instance. Where was I? Seem to have lost my place. Oops. Okay, I'm just going to have to load. Oh, there it is. Where was I? Sorry about this. Okay, I am going to, while I still find my place, I'm going to stop sharing and hand over to Antonia to help with what she was going to show. You're on mute, Antonia.
Thanks, Dave. Sorry about that. The next thing I'd like to share with everyone is how to search across and within Picvario. So for that, I'm going to use Rhonda Bosch School's Picvario's account as an example. So let's load that. So this is what Rhonda Bosch's Picvario account looks like. So I'm just going to log in. Great, so now we are logged into our accounts. So this is what the Rhonda Bosch site currently looks like. You can see that they've got quite a number of items, mainly photos and documents. So the search function just helps you to streamline and find exactly what you're looking for without having to go through each asset that is on the system or each item that's on the system. So for example, if I'm looking for an item that has rugby in it, I will search the word rugby in this search bar at the top of our page. So we'll search the word rugby. And once we press enter, you'll see that it pulls up all the assets that have, well, that are related to rugby. So you can see that if you click on this image, this is why this image was pulled up, was because there was the word rugby in the metadata or the tag. So it just helps you to streamline your search and just make things a little easier, or help the person that is using your system find exactly what they're looking for. So that's what the metadata and the tags do help us with.
Antonia, I think that's a cricket team. Can you show us how to remove that rugby keyword from this system?
Sure. So if this is a cricket team and you realize, oh no, I've made a mistake, this is actually not a rugby team, this is the cricket team, there is actually a way to remove rugby from the system. So so firstly you'll click on the image, and then you'll click on this little button at the top. It looks like a notepad with a pen. That's the properties tab. And then you can see that the title is called testing. So that's also a little like, why is the title testing? So if I want to now change this to Rondebosch cricket team, I can actually do that. Rondebosch cricket team. So I can do that, and to save, we just press this little tick. So that's how we can change the title of the picture. If you decide that you now want to change a title, or you find more information about the photo, so you'd like to update it, this is where you would update or change a title of an image, and you can see that it's updated as we've saved it. And under description, you can see the metadata for the picture. So again, if you'd like to edit, remove, add something, add more information, you'll just edit in this little box, and then it will change it on our metadata as well. So it's just a really easy way to keep track of things. And underneath tags, if we don't want rugby anymore, oopsie.
It's
Sorry.
because you clicked on rugby, so it's researched by rugby.
Yes, so you can see that if you do click on a tag, it researches all the pictures in rugby. I think I'm so sorry. I think I've lost that picture. I just need to go back. Okay, I'm just going to search rugby again. This was the image. So in order to remove or add a tag, you just click in the little white space in the box. So you don't click on the word, or else it will search it and give you all the pictures related to the tag. So you'll click in the little white space in the box. And if we want to remove rugby, you just click on the X next to the tag, and it will delete the tag. And again, you click on the little tick to save. So the next time we search rugby, this picture won't actually appear.
And you could put cricket in there.
Yes. We can actually add cricket in here. And then we save again. So the next time we search cricket, this image would appear. So that is how you edit, add, and delete tags of an image.
Can you tell us about those AI tags?
Yes. So the AI tags are tags that the system comes up with as soon as you upload an image. So it's not tags that we've created, or it's not tags related to the metadata. It's how the AI system reads the image. So you can see that AI has read that this image has men in it, and these are the possible age groups, and it's also read their emotions. So you can see anger, content, happiness, male, neutral, 40 to 50, probably relating to the teacher. Now, we wouldn't really want anger and contempt in our metadata, in our AI tags, so that just sends across the wrong message. So if we want to delete it, we would delete it the same way we delete a normal tag. So you just click in the little white space, and you click on the X next to the tag that you'd like to delete. And we can delete 10, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. We can delete men, because men and male are the same thing. We can also delete neutral, and then we can save. We can even add, for example, cricket in again. So you can actually add in AI tags. You can even add blazer because all the boys are wearing blazers. So if you search the word blazer, then this image would appear. So that's how you edit, remove, and add AI tags of an asset. Because sometimes AI does read things incorrectly, so it's actually very important to make sure that you do check your AI tags and remove whichever ones that you don't want on your system. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to search within a document. So let's pick a document related to rugby. So we can see at first glance of this document, we actually can't see the word rugby in it anywhere. So Picvario has created a search within function, which is super helpful, especially for someone who is looking for certain information in a PDF. So how you'd access the search within function is by clicking on this little full screen button, and then it takes you within the document. And we can see that it's already found the word rugby for us because it takes what you've searched in the big search bar and puts it into this little search bar up here. So if you want to find another word, I'm just going to use the word the because it must be in the document. You can see it highlights every word, even words that have the in them, like there, them. So it really does help you once again streamline your searches, which I think is very helpful, especially for someone who's doing research. So that is how you would search within a document. Okay. And so we've covered search across and search within. So the next thing I would like to show you is how to build taxonomies. So a taxonomy is a way of classifying your assets. So I like to think of taxonomy as folders within folders. So for example, if you take your desktop folder on your computer or laptop as an example, you'd have the main folder, which would be desktop. And within that desktop folder, you'd have other folders within. And it's just a way of organizing your content. So you'd have like images, documents, videos, and within your images folder, you'd have maybe other folders that sort your images out, and then other folders that sort your videos out, etc., etc. So it's just a way of sorting out your assets in a collection. So how we access taxonomy is there's a little arrow here in the corner of the left-hand corner of our Picvario instance. So we click on that, and then here you can see our taxonomy. Now there's a special way to actually build taxonomy. It doesn't just automatically build. You need to access the admin panel, which I'll show you how to do now. And we just work on that, and whatever we do on the back end in the admin panel will reflect in the front end, which is the page that we're seeing now. So you can see that our main folder is our Rondebosch Digital Archive. Then we have subfolders underneath, which are Rondebosch Historic Photos, Rondebosch Magazines, and Rondebosch Publications. And within each folder, we have a couple of items within. So it's just a very helpful way of sorting out assets into different categories. So how we access the admin panel is we go to our Help Center and we click on Help Center again, and then we click on For Administrators. So this function would be for the person that would be in charge of administrating your site. So normally they'd be able to access the admin panel and not anyone else. So in order to access the admin panel, you have to put in, as you can see, your workspace name.api.picvario.com/admin. So what I like to do is I copy this and I paste it in there. And our workspace name is Rondebosch School. So I'll just copy this. And then I'll paste it in the place of workspace name. And then it takes us to our admin page. And normally you have to log in, and the login details you'd use are exactly the same as login details that you'd use to access your Picvario site. I didn't log in though because I've saved my login details. That's why it's just brought me straight into the admin page. And I know when you look at it, it can look a little overwhelming, but the Picvario Help Center has so many really, really helpful articles on how to utilize this admin panel to the best of your ability. So I really do recommend going through that help center. It's really taught me a lot as well. So in order to build a taxonomy, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that your taxonomy will actually reflect onto the front end of your site. So it needs to reflect on this page. And in order to do that, we go to options. And then we go to this little category called taxonomy enabled. And normally when you first access your site, this little box is unchecked. So it's very important to make sure that if you're including taxonomies in your site, that the val box is checked. That's very crucial, because if it's not, then all the work that you do in the back end when you build your taxonomies will not reflect on the actual site. So you can see that ours is checked already, so I'll save. And then we will go to the category taxonomy. So here's the category taxonomy, and then we'll click on taxons. So taxons are like your categories that you built. So you can see I've built it. Here's the main folder, and here are our subfolders. So if I want to add another subfolder, I'll click on add taxon. And then I'll put in the name of the subfolder, so we can call it Rhonda Bosch videos. Because let's say that we now need to upload videos to the site. We can then put it into this category so that people can easily access their videos. The slug is normally system generated, so you don't need to worry about filling that in. The slug just helps the system to keep track of what taxon it is, and so I don't normally fill that in. And with the parents, it's the folder that your now new subfolder would fall under. So the parent would be Rhonda Bosch Digital Archive, because it's going to fall underneath the main folder. And then I'll save it. And then you can see that it does appear here. And then when I go back to our Rhonda Bosch site, you just refresh. And then if you open your taxon again, you'll see that Rhonda Bosch videos is on the site now. So that's the way that you would build taxons. I know that it seems like it's a little complicated, but I can promise you that once you have your file structure and how you'd like to organize your digital archive, it becomes way easier, because sometimes you can have more than one main folder. It all depends on how you organize your site. So some sites you'd see would have many folders because there's a lot of content within the archive. But Rhonda Bosch, as we can see, it only has 83 items in it, so it's quite a small archive.
And so you could have folders within folders.
Yes, you could. So if I had, for example, if I wanted to put have another folder within Rhonda Bosch historic photos. So let me show you how to do that. So I'll go to add taxon again. And then if I wanted to have sports photos underneath that, the historic photos, I just choose the parent to be Rondebosch historic photos. And then I save. And then you can see that it does appear underneath the Rondebosch historic photos. So if you want to, like, if you have photos, like many photos, for example, if you have sports photos, your main folder could be like sports photos, and then you can have cricket, rugby, swimming underneath your main sports photo folder. So you can have folders within folders. And even in this one, you could streamline it more and make folders of the type of sport that you play. So it really does depend on how organized you want your digital archive to be. And then once again, if I refresh on our front end, you'll see that underneath Rondebosch historic photographs, we have our sports photos section. And normally you would build your taxonomies before you upload content to your site, and then the system just feeds in whatever items are supposed to go into each one of these folders. So that's normally how we do it. Okay, and the last thing that I will be showing you is how to create a collection. So you can see that we have a couple of collections, and there are two ways to access collections. So you can access it by using the drop-down arrow. So it takes you to a brand new page where you can see your collections, or you can access it by going back to assets, and normally the collections tab will sit next to your taxonomy tab. So how you would add content to a collection, there's actually two ways of doing it. So click on the asset that you'd like to add to your collection, and you can just say add to collection by clicking on this button. And then you can see that whatever collections are here actually appear here as well. So I want to add this to Rondebosch images. And then it adds it automatically. Another way you can add collections is by selecting the asset that you want. And you can see that if you go to the folder that you want to add it to, there's a little plus icon next to the number of items in the folder, and you can just add that to your collection as well. So there are two ways to add to a collection. And let's say, for example, you're working really fast and you realize that you've added it to the incorrect collection. You can exclude it by clicking on that little minus there, and it removes whatever you've added. So I feel like that's also very helpful. I normally add to collections by using this method because it helps me see what folders I have while I am accessing my assets at the same time. So I find that very helpful. And in order to create a collection, you can click on the little create collection box, and let's create a new collection called Rondebosch school. Then you just press enter, and then you have your new collection, and you can continue to add assets to it. Another nice thing about collections is that you are able to control the permissions on them. And you do that by clicking on the collection that you want to change permissions to. And we click on properties again. And then you can see that you can either have a private collection, a common collection, or a public connection. So a private collection is only available to people who are able to log into the system. And you can see that by the little closed eye there as well. it means that the collection is private. So anyone who is accessing your system that is not logged in, they will not be able to see the collection. So it's a good way of just keeping some privacy of items that you just want certain people to see. Common is only people that are logged in again will want to be able to see common collections. So they have to have a login in order to see common collections. And public means that everyone can see your collection. So regardless of whether you have a login or not, once you access the system, you are able to see the collection. But normally, all content that is added to a Picvario system is automatically made private. So whoever doesn't have a login won't be able to see your items or your collections, but you do have the power to change that. So if you want to change the permissions on an item, you click on the item, go to properties, and under public, you just toggle to yes. So that means that if you want your public to see certain things, like certain documents or images, you can just toggle that permission so that they'd be able to see it. But the general permission, as soon as you do upload items, is it's private. So I hope that explains how permission.
Very helpful, Antonia. I'm aware that we've got 5 minutes left, and I wondered whether anyone has any questions. Otherwise, I will also I want to show you some AI on images, because AI is really best on images. So maybe if you stop sharing your screen and I can share mine. Okay, I'm sure that you can see. So this image, it was loaded without any metadata, but you can see that the AI has kind of looked at this, and these are the tags that it has automatically assigned to this: outdoors, nature, animal, animals in the wild, beak, branch, feather, tree. Now, obviously, as Antonia showed you, we can choose to remove. So I would say that's not particularly focused on tree. And I might, add hornbill or, something like that. I can also add that in the main tags further up here. I can add yellow billed hornbill. And I guess I might not put capitals. And this is where it comes down to making sure that there is a standard way right across your system in which you put tags in and put metadata in, and having a very clear methodology so things are not all over the place. If this image had embedded metadata from IPTC, so for instance, if you were in Photomechanic or you were in Lightroom and you had already added metadata in it, it would automatically suck in that metadata and display it on the front end here. So I just wanted to show you that very briefly. You can actually also choose a number of images all together and then add a tag to all of them. So that's also all very possible. Right, are there any questions? We've got 2 minutes left. Any questions that you might have? As I said, we are working on an integration between our MeMat, our current MeMat front end, and this system as well, which will be very applicable if you're making the archive available to public and you want very controlled access to them. But yeah, I hope that this has been helpful for you. Any questions?
I
Yes.
actually did type my question in the chat, Dave.
Oh, sorry, Kenny, I didn't see it. Oh, yes. Does this platform in any way do statistical records? How many times a specific file record has been downloaded or viewed? Antonia, over to you. Do you know the answer to that?
Thanks for your question, Kenny. That's actually a really good question. I can find out from our correspondent at Picvario if that is possible, because I'm actually not sure. I'm actually not
Okay.
sure.
I am sure it does. It does quite a lot. There's quite a lot of statistics in the system. So yeah, but we can find out for you exactly about that. Yeah. Good. Thanks, Kenny. Any other questions that people have? Any comments on the system? Do you think it could be helpful for you? Go ahead, Victor.
My question really was, does this AI give me face recognition capabilities?
Yes.
Specifically for photographs and things like that?
Yes. You can train it.
Okay, so if I have a photo of a bunch of people who played rugby and I have their names, I can link that name, obviously then tag the specific face, but then I have a lot of pictures where we have no information. And that would be great
Exactly.
if facial recognition could then link it and give me an idea. Okay.
Exactly. You train it on sort of 3 to 5 images,
Mm-hmm.
showing that particular face, and then it'll start to recognize and it'll present you with those, and you can say yes, no. And so it gets more and more accurate as you go.
Okay, and another question, your company has now been digitizing our school magazines. From what we've done there, and obviously is the way that that page has been digitized, if I uploaded or accessed that information through Picvario, and I wanted to know when last did St Andrews beat Selborne in the under 14 games, which was a question I got asked a while back. Took 3 hours of searching through info and no answer. And eventually we found out that it had been done in 1998 magazine. Would the AI be able to pick out those keywords? To sort of give me a place to look, or even if it's not going to give me the direct answer.
Yes, certainly. So it would find, and you can do quite advanced search. So you can find, Selborne, St Andrews, under 14, rugby, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not that we have to do anything special. That page has already been scanned or digitized.
Exactly. That page has been scanned. Exactly. So it'll be there. Yeah.
I like that.
Right. I see Margie's got a question. When uploading assets, will AI tags assist with classifying the assets into collections or taxons? Margie, I would say not necessarily. One would normally be placing material into taxons. So taxons, the way we like to use taxons is like a permanent structure. So if you think about a museum has a kind of stores in which and there's a place where everything in the museum sits in the stores. And then from time to time, you pull out from the stores things you want to put on display, and those are in the galleries. And those are collections in this case. So taxons are like the stores. Everything must be somewhere in the taxon, but galleries present like the best of a particular thing, or maybe a collection around a particular theme that is not in the taxon. So that's how we tend to like to use it. But obviously you can use it in multiple ways, and it really is about understanding your own needs in that regard. And usually, so when we're engaging with a client, usually we're really trying to find out, okay, how does this system, how does this collection work, and how best to structure it so that then you can really find things. So it's not just that you search, because usually search is by things that you know is in there. It's discovery. You're wanting to aid discovery. People don't know what's in your archive. How do they get aided in their discovery? And that's where the taxon is really helpful, and the galleries or collections to present it to you, the best of whatever it is. Hope that helps. Right. I think if there are no other questions, I think we can close the chat and the webinar. Thank you so much for attending. Please, if you have any more questions, please feel free to email us. We'd love to be able to take this further with you. Good. Have a great day and a good weekend. Bye, everyone.
Bye.